Have you ever wondered how China, one of the world's oldest civilizations, came into being? Our journey begins over 4,000 years ago during the Xia dynasty. While some may consider the Xia dynasty as a period of legend, it's widely believed to have laid the groundwork for the development of Chinese civilization. Fast forward to the Zhou dynasty, which spanned nearly 8 centuries. This was a golden age of philosophy where the teachings of Confucius and Laozi, foundational to Chinese thought, took root. The innovation of iron tools and the establishment of feudalism were also hallmark achievements in this era. Then came the Qin dynasty, a brief but monumental period in China's history. It was during this time that China was first unified under a centralized government. The emperor, Qin Shi Huang, is also credited for beginning the construction of the Great Wall, a symbol of China's resilience and strength. Lastly, we approach the Han dynasty. This period was a high point in Chinese civilization, witnessing the consolidation of Confucianism as the state philosophy and the expansion of the Silk Road, enhancing China's trade and cultural exchanges with the world. The Han dynasty also introduced an examination system for government service, a practice that would endure for centuries. Each dynasty, each era, left its imprint on the fabric of China's history, shaping the nation's culture, philosophy, and governance. The Xia dynasty sowed the seeds of civilization, the Zhou dynasty nurtured philosophical thought, the Qin dynasty unified a nation, and the Han dynasty expanded its influence beyond its borders. So, from the Xia dynasty to the Han dynasty, China's early history laid the foundation for what was to come. But as we'll soon discover, the story of China's emergence is far from over. It's a tale of resilience, revolution, and reinvention that continues to unfold, shaping not just China, but the world we live in today. But what happened when China was divided into several regions ruled by different warlords, you may ask? To answer that, we need to turn our gaze to the period known as the era of fragmentation, which spanned from 220 to 589 AD. This was a time of great political instability and social unrest, as China was not united under a single ruler, but was instead splintered into numerous states, each with its own warlord at the helm. This period, often seen as a dark chapter in China's history, was not without its silver linings. It was a time of great cultural and intellectual diversity, as each state developed its own unique identity and contributions to Chinese civilization. However, the lack of a unified government led to constant warfare and strife, causing great suffering for the people. But as with all things, this period of fragmentation did not last forever. In the late 6th century, a new power rose to prominence, the Sui dynasty. From 581 to 618 AD, the Sui dynasty succeeded in reunifying China, bringing an end to nearly 4 centuries of division and conflict. This marked the start of a new era in Chinese history, one of unity and prosperity. Following the Sui dynasty, the Tang dynasty took the reins from 618 to 907 AD. The Tang dynasty is often considered one of the greatest dynasties in Chinese history, marked by its cultural, economic, and political accomplishments. Then came the Song dynasty from 960 to 1279 AD, another period of great prosperity and cultural achievement. Despite periods of fragmentation, China's civilization continued to thrive and innovate, leading to the era of imperial China. So while the era of fragmentation was a time of division and strife, it also set the stage for the reunification and prosperity that would define the centuries to come. The resilience and adaptability of the Chinese civilization shine through, reminding us that even in the face of adversity, progress is always possible. So who was the Nationalist Party, and what role did they play in China's history? A pivotal player in the early 20th century, the Nationalist Party, also known as the Kuomintang, was founded by Sun Yat-sen. Their mission? To overthrow the Qing dynasty and establish the Republic of China. The party's ideology, known as the Three Principles of the People, sought to unite the country under nationalism, provide rights and livelihood to the people, and establish a democratic government. The Nationalist Party's efforts culminated in the Xinhai Revolution of 1911, which successfully ended over 2,000 years of imperial rule. Under the leadership of Chiang Kai-shek, the Nationalist Party went on to govern the Republic of China, navigating the nation through the turbulent waters of the early 20th century. However, their rule was far from uncontested. The Nationalist Party was instrumental in shaping modern China, but their rule was not unchallenged. This sets the stage for the emergence of another key player in China's history, the Communist Party. But who was Mao Zedong, and how did he change the course of China's history? Let's dive into it. Mao Zedong, often known in the West as Mao Zedong, was a revolutionary leader who fundamentally transformed China. Born into a peasant family in 1893, Mao's early experiences deeply shaped his political beliefs. His ideas of land reform and social equality struck a chord with the majority of the population, who were largely agrarian. In 1921, Mao, along with a group of radical intellectuals and revolutionaries, founded the Communist Party of China, or CPC. This was a time of political chaos and social upheaval in China, and the CPC aimed to bring about a socialist revolution. The party was heavily influenced by the Marxist-Leninist ideology, which emphasized the empowerment of the proletariat, or working class. The Communist Party's rise didn't go unchallenged. The Nationalist Party, or Kuomintang, led by Chiang Kai-shek, held power and was not ready to cede it. This sparked a civil war that lasted nearly 3 decades, from 1927 to 1949. It was a brutal conflict marked by periods of relative calm, punctuated by intense fighting. It was a war of attrition, with both sides vying for the hearts and minds of the Chinese people. Mao's strategy was unique. Rather than focusing on urban centers, he focused on the countryside, mobilizing peasants into a guerrilla army known as the Red Army. His policies of land redistribution and social equality appealed to the rural masses, who formed the backbone of his support. In 1949, the tide of the conflict turned decisively. The Communist Party emerged victorious, and the Nationalist Party retreated to Taiwan. On October 1st, Mao stood in Beijing's Tiananmen Square and proclaimed the establishment of the People's Republic of China. This marked the end of the Civil War and the beginning of communist rule in China. With the establishment of the People's Republic of China under Mao Zedong, a new chapter in China's history began. A chapter that would see the transformation of China into a global superpower, but not without immense social, political, and economic upheavals. So, what has happened in China since the establishment of the People's Republic? Well, in the decades following the establishment of the People's Republic in 1949, China underwent some of the most dramatic changes in its long history. One of the most significant events was the Cultural Revolution, which began in 1966 under the leadership of Mao Zedong. This was a decade-long period of political and social upheaval aimed at purging remnants of capitalist and traditional elements from Chinese society, and to reimpose Maoist thought as the dominant ideology. With Mao's death in 1976, however, a new era dawned, one of economic reform and opening up to the world. The man at the helm of this transformation was Deng Xiaoping. Deng is best known for his policy of reform and opening up, which aimed to modernize China's economy through the introduction of capitalist market principles while maintaining the country's socialist political system. These reforms led to an economic boom, lifting hundreds of millions of Chinese citizens out of poverty and transforming China into the world's second-largest economy. Today, China is not just an economic powerhouse, but also a major player on the global stage, wielding significant influence in areas ranging from technology to climate policy. However, China's modern history is not just about economic growth. The country has also seen a tightening of political control under the leadership of the Communist Party, with an emphasis on ideological conformity and a clampdown on dissent. The government's handling of issues such as human rights and information control have drawn international criticism, yet at the same time, the Communist Party's ability to maintain stability and drive economic growth has earned it significant domestic support. From ancient civilization to global superpower, China's history is a captivating tale of resilience, revolution, and reinvention. So, what have we learned about the history of China? From its early dynasties through periods of fragmentation, China has demonstrated resilience, shaping itself into the nation we see today. The Nationalist Party played a crucial role in unifying the country, setting the stage for the emergence of influential figures such as Mao Zedong. Mao, as the leader of the Communist Party, sparked a revolution that led to the establishment of the People's Republic of China, The China Liberation Army, an instrumental force under the Communist Party, has been an integral part of the nation's development and defense. These collective experiences, the triumphs and trials, have forged the China we know today, a nation rich in culture, history, and global influence. Understanding China's history helps us appreciate its rich culture, its resilience, and its rise as a global power. Thank you for joining us on this historical journey.